Okay, so where students tend to get the most unstuck with using Blender is in navigating around in 3D space. So in many ways this video is probably one of the most important and one of the ones that you want to study quite carefully and learn thoroughly before you really try to do too much with the program. So to demonstrate this, I've just created a scene here that contains a sphere, a cube and a torus object. One thing I didn't mention before, but I can show you quickly now, just so you can see a clearer view of what's going on here. I'm just going to drag this tool shelf out from my 3D viewport, which I do by just dragging across until it disappears. If you ever need to bring that back, this little plus icon here, if I click and drag, you can see I can bring it back out. Likewise, there is another tool shelf that we can bring across from this side, which we'll talk about later, but I'll just hide that one as well. And then I'm going to press Control and my up arrow to take this window into full screen. Okay, so we've got these three objects here, and I need to be able to learn the best way to view these, view my scene from different angles. If I go to my View menu for the 3D viewport, there's a few views I can select here. So for instance, I can go to Front. Right now I'm looking at this scene from what we call the front view, and you'll notice up here in the corner that Blender is telling me I'm in a front orthographic view. Orthographic means that there is no perspective being applied to what it is that I'm looking at. If you think so when you're driving down the street or something, as objects get further and further away, they get smaller. But when we're looking in 3D space in an orthographic view, everything is the same size no matter how far away it is. Everything is displayed the same size. So if we look at this grid that sits on the ground plane in our 3D scene, these 3D grid squares are the same size no matter how far away they are from where I'm sitting. On your number pad, if you press 5, whoops, we go into the perspective option. So now when I'm looking at my scene, I can see on these grid squares that this is more realistic to what we see in real life. Objects are getting smaller as they go further away from us. Most of the modelling work you tend to do in orthographic view, but perspective is what you will actually output at the end of all your work, because it is more realistic to what we would expect to see. So to jump back to orthographic view, I just press my number pad 5 again. And these shortcut keys are well worth your while to commit to memory. I'd grab a pen, write these down. So number pad 5 to jump between perspective and orthographic view. Number pad 1 puts me in a front view. You can see here, so currently I'm in front perspective view. But as I say, most of your modelling we do in orthographic view. So now I've pressed 1 and 5, which has put me in a front orthographic view. If I press 7 on my number pad, now I'm in my top view. And you can see in my scene I've got a torus and a cube. In my orthographic view I can very clearly see how the torus and the cube sit on top of each other. Okay, so we've got 1, 7 and 5. 3 will give me a right side view. 1, 3 and 7. 1 for front, 3 for right, 7 for top. If you look at the notes that I'll give you with these videos, I'll give you a shortcut key list that you can refer to as well. Okay.